This is a tutorial for advanced high musicians. You will need a pen and paper and to take notes as we go. The concepts that we're going to cover are nationalist, antiphonal and hemiola, which are advanced higher concepts, oboe, coda and ritardando, which are national 5 concepts, and imitation, syncopation, major and minor tonality, ternary form and tempo, which are national 4 concepts. Your first activity is to write your name and date at the top of your notes and a list of those concepts. And now please listen to the finale of the Czech Suite by Anton Dvorak, which, by the way, is one of my most favourite pieces ever, so I'm really going to enjoy this tutorial. So here is the recording and it's about 5 minutes long. Enjoy. So please remember to take notes all the way through the tutorial and photograph them or type them up and upload them to me on Teams for some feedback. And apologies if you can hear banging in the background. It's because my neighbours are having a new roof and there's nothing I can do about telling them to be quiet. So the first concept that I'd like you to write down is nationalist. So when you're listening to a piece of nationalist music, there are clues in the music that tell you which country is being referred to. And usually you can identify the country because the clues are folk music, folk dances and rhythms that you might associate with that country. Sometimes nationalist music is written by composers. Let's take Tchaikovsky. He's a Russian composer. If he was writing a piece of nationalist music that was depicting Russia, he would use particular Russian folk themes and dances in his music. But if Tchaikovsky was writing a piece of music and he wanted to depict Spain, he could use elements of flamenco and Spanish rhythms and dances, and that would also be described as nationalist. So sometimes it's the composer's own country that they're referring to, or sometimes they're writing about a different country to their own nationality. And this example, we are listening to the Czech suite written by the composer Anton Dvořák, who was Czech. And so we're hoping to hear lots of influences of Czech music, folk tunes, folk rhythms and dances within this Czech suite. Have a listen to the opening again and see if you can identify the tempo and the time signature. And how would you describe the music that you hear at the very beginning? So this music is written in triple time, in 3/4, but it was a very fast 3. I'll play it again and I'll count along with you to demonstrate that. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's actually so fast to count in 3 that we actually would count this in 1. If we're in the orchestra and we're playing this, the conductor won't be beating 3 beats in a bar because it's just too fast and too hectic. So he'll actually be conducting in 1, and the orchestral players will be subdividing that 1 beat into 3. Could you hear that there was an accent on the second beat? Now usually we expect to hear the accent on the first beat. But because the accent is on a second beat, it provides some syncopation, but it drives that music forward. The name of this finale is a furiant, and this is actually a rapid and fiery bohemian dance which alternates between 2/4 and 3/4 time. Now, as you've identified, this music is in triple time in 3/4, even though it's so fast it will be conducted and counted in 1. And we're going to explore another advanced higher concept, which is a hemiola. So a hemiola is a rhythmic device, and it's used to create a lot of excitement in music. You tend to hear hemiolas written in quite fast pieces of music, where triple time is established, and just when you're getting into the swing of triple time, the music appears to alternate between triple time and duple time. So the music is still written with 3 beats in a bar, as in the time signature has not changed. It is written in 3/4. But the way that the music is notated and the way that accents are written on the music, it could be written as if it was in duple time. The important thing is that this rhythmic device gives the impression that the time signature has changed, but it hasn't. So you're still in 3/4, but the way the music is written with the accents and the way that the phrases lie as if it's in duple time. So you could actually count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, even though the time signature is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is play you an extract of music which is in triple time, and I want you to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. and then I'll announce where there's going to be a hemiola, where you can hear it could be 1 2 1 2 1 2, even though it's still written with a 3/4 time signature. So here is the extract of music in triple time. So throughout that extract, albeit very fast, you could count 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and the music would lie quite comfortably in that phrase pattern. Have a listen now to the hemiola. So crucially, the time signature has not changed. But if I play that extract again and count duple time over the top, it fits. Listen to this. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So hopefully you could hear that the phrasing fitted with the duple time counting, even though the music is still written in 3/4. Let me count 3 over the top of the same extract so you can hear it's still written in 3/4, but it gives the impression of being in duple time. It's all about where the accents lie in the music. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So it's important to note that a hemiola is not a change of time signature. It's a rhythmic device used to give the impression of being in duple time when in fact you're in triple time, and it's used to push momentum forward, to drive the music and create excitement. So a hemiola may go on for a few bars. It won't be a huge section of music, because otherwise then you're not getting that feeling of triple to duple, back to triple, back to duple time. So if it was going to be a whole section of music, then you may as well change the time signature. But hemiolas are phrases, 8/16 bars, but not really any more than that. So the next concept that we're going to look at is antiphonal, and you may have heard this word before when we're listening to Renaissance music, especially Renaissance choral music, where you've got a dialogue between two different groups of instruments or two different groups of singers. So I'm going to play you an extract of this nationalist music, which includes antiphonal exchanges. Could you please write down the definition of antiphonal, but also identify which instruments this dialogue is between? Have a listen to that one more time. So I hope you identified that the antiphonal exchanges were between the solo oboe and the string family. And actually there was a bit of stretto thrown in there as well for good measure, where the imitation that occurred in the antiphonal exchanges got closer together, the telescoping of imitative entries, which is stretto. And just to revise the National 4 concept of imitation, that is when one part copies another straight away. Let's listen to a section of this piece again and identify the tonality. So that was the ending of the piece. Listen to the tonality of the very beginning as well. So this piece of music is actually in D minor, and I wanted to include in a tutorial an example of minor music that is not sad. So when you're at primary school or early stages of secondary school, you might be introduced to tonality by saying, major happy and minor sad. But that's not always the case. You really have to, as advanced high musicians, listen out to the third degree of the scale. And is it flattened? Is it a minor third? Because the music won't necessarily be sad. This is a furiant and energetic bohemian dance. It's definitely not sad music, yet the tonality is minor. Now, this piece of music is in ternary form, and you should know that ternary form is ABA. And there's a coda on the end, which is like a little extra bit tagged on the end to finish the music. And it's interesting in this piece of music that the middle section is in the tonic major. So the overall tonality of the piece is D minor with a middle section of D major. Listen to how that D major section contrasts those two extracts you just heard. And you may have noticed that whole section of D major that you just listened to was in fact a hemiola. Have a listen to it again and see if you can count 1 2 1 2 1 2 or 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 and which one fits. It's the duple time, by the way. And we're now about to finish this tutorial by just revising ritardando and our tempo, two concepts that are National 5 and National 4. So a ritardando is where the music gradually slows down, and in this example we have a molto ritardando, which means a really big slowdown, and a tempo means back to the original speed. So have a listen to that here. So during that beautiful perfect cadence, which is actually a tierce to Picardy because it's a D major perfect cadence, 5-1 in D major, even though we're in D minor, there was a huge slowdown as we arrived on the tonic, and then the music fired up again in D minor at the R tempo. Take one more listen to that, and that draws us to a close for this tutorial. Please can you take a photograph or type up your notes and hand them in to me on Teams. Thank you very much.